everybody, and welcome to episode 11 of the Mumpky and Cobb Movie Podcast. I'm your host, X23. Hola, chico. Hola, me llamo Taco. Today I'm joined by...
E-Rich.
X23 is a Mexican girl, but we'll get to that later. Hey, E-Rich, how's it going, buddy?
Oh, it's going great.
Yeah, it was storming here a second ago, so if you hear some nice ambiance of, like, thunder and lightning and very, very frightening me, just, go with the flow. It'll be a nice, relaxing discussion of what I dare say is the first Cape Kino of the modern era.
Absolutely, or at least 2017.
Now, if we can go back in time a little bit, before we discuss Logan, I really want to talk about the trailer for Logan, and I've probably said this somewhere before, because this trailer impacted me in a major way. I don't think there has been a trailer that has been so emotionally effective for me since maybe the Inception trailer all the way back in, like, 2009, where the trailer... I'm specifically talking about the Johnny Cash Hurt trailer, and then they add in those sick drum beats to the climax of Johnny Cash's song. God, I love the trailer so much. It got me completely pumped up. I was totally torqued. I was ready to have my insides all slashed up with Wolverine claws. And it was the finest example of trailer Kino since Inception for me. I don't know. What do you think of the trailer? Anything?
Yeah, I loved the trailer. I mean, I think there should be awards for certain trailers just because...
Oh, yeah.
There is an art to assembling images with music or sound clips from the movie or whatever, and I feel like this Logan trailer just knocked out of the park. And
it didn't really spoil shit.
No, it didn't.
That's the biggest problem with trailers, is that they ruin the entire movie. This one was effective emotionally. It was exhilarating. It was exciting. And also it didn't spoil anything.
Yeah, most movie trailers, if you know what you're looking for, you can, like, pretty easily determine this is the first act, this is the second act, and, like, maybe you get a peek at the, like, big battle at the end. But Logan, you just got, like, you got a sense of feel. You got a sense of, like, this is what this movie is striving for, and that's what you need in a trailer. And when an artful one does it, it's incredible.
I was really excited for Batman vs. Superman, like, after the first one or two trailers, but then they dropped the trailer with Doomsday, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be complete shit.
Yeah, I remember you messaging me, and
fuck?
I saw the trailer, and I'm like, oh, shit. But actually, talking about the DCEU, the Man of Steel trailer, one of them, I don't know what it is. I think the one where he punches Zod, that one's really good, too. It integrates the score heavily, which Man of Steel score is amazing.
And that the one where his father is narrating the trailer and it shows him, like, taking off to fly for the first time and all that stuff?
Yes, it's probably that one.
I'm pretty sure Space Cop had a teaser trailer that was doing a parody of that. Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's pretty funny. The trailer was funnier than the movie.
The actual movie.
But now that we're done talking about trailer Kino, maybe we should move on to what we both agree is motherfucking Cape Kino, baby.
Legit
Logan.
Cape Kino.
Oh my god. You take the reins on this one again. I always like giving it to you because you're the smart one of the group.
All right. So Logan is kind of the second James Mangold directed X-Men movie. He did The Wolverine, which was the previous Hugh Jackman kind of starring vehicle X-Men movie.
Which was a solid 6 out of 10.
I actually like it more than that. I'd say it's a solid 7.5 to 8 out of 10. A lot of people really,
I think if they would have
really dismissed
they wanted to make it rated R, and the studio fucked with it. So I think if it would have stayed rated R, we would have got a better movie.
A lot of people that dismissed the movie for the last, like, 20 minutes. Like, I don't mind the last 20 minutes, and I think the rest of the movie does enough good stuff that I really enjoy the movie overall. That's when I really realized that, like, Hugh Jackman with this director, James Mangold, they can actually make something good. And I feel like Logan is their shot to deliver something truly awesome. And they do it. The Wolverine was really good. This is great. This is like, so I see people saying it's one of the best superhero movies ever, and I generally agree with that. My quibbles will be when it's like compared to The Dark Knight as like the best ever. But yeah, it's certainly one of the best superhero movies and certainly worth seeing. Yeah.
I almost don't want to say that because I wouldn't even consider this a superhero movie for the most part. It's like an indie drama with characters that just so happen to have superpowers. So I would say it transcends the superhero genre in a lot of ways until, I guess, the end when there's all the kids fighting in the woods. Then that kind of gets like, oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, there's certain plot elements that I would disagree that it transcends the genre, because basically if you would put those plot elements into any other movie, you'd be like, what the fuck? What? And that's kind of where I run into some of my problems with the movie, but they're not nearly enough to like detract from it in any measurable way. So yeah.
I think the ballsiest thing that the movie does, and you would think it would be having an R rating on a superhero film, but I think the ballsiest thing was having just such a small, contained story, because all these superhero movies, you know, you got like your fucking Civil Wars and shit, like, oh, we gotta make it the biggest, craziest battle ever, gotta shoot those blue lasers in the sky and fight the aliens, and this one's like, nah, it's just like focused on these three characters the whole time. And,
it's gotta be, and in other movies, it's gotta be 50 characters, and you have to have seen every other movie in the series to even come close to understanding what's going on. This movie
has like 4 action scenes and then 10 scenes of people sitting there talking.
Yeah, and I'm sure that
and it's great.
It does add something to have seen the previous X-Men movies with specifically Wolverine and Professor X in them, but you can glean a lot just from what they talk about and kind of their relationship enough so that I don't think you really need those other movies. You can walk into Logan just generally knowing about Wolverine's the guy with claws who beats the shit out of people, and you'll enjoy the movie.
Yeah, I think so too. I think a non-comic book fan could enjoy this as much as any other movie.
Yeah.
So should we gleam over all the positives so that we can go into the negatives? Because even though we both would put this movie on a pedestal, I'm more interested in talking about the negative elements of the movie. Like, not to shit on it, but just because I think it's kind of important for this new emerging trend of R-rated superhero movies.
Yeah, it's important to talk about what is something that we might not have liked about it, because everyone is fawning over the movie, rightfully so, but yeah. Just in general, I think all the performances in this movie are incredible. We've got the newcomer Daphne Keane, who plays X-23 throughout the first kind of half, 2/3 of the movie. She's like silent. She doesn't really say anything except she screams.
Which is the best part of the character.
Yeah.
When she started talking, that's when it kind of fell apart for me.
I actually liked her when she started talking, and I think it works together as a solid character.
Well, I guess if we're
silent for that
if
part.
I'm going to jump into my issues with the movie already, okay. I feel like when she starts talking, her character is a completely different person, because when she's silent, she's like this immature little 8-year-old kid. You know, she's like stealing stuff from stores and being bratty. But then the moment she decides to start talking, she like is suddenly the more mature between her and Logan, and she's like driving the car and taking care of him when he's weak and stuff. Like, when the fuck did she get 15 years older? I don't get it.
I think the difference is when she starts talking, she's around just Logan, or she's around the other kids. So before she was with Professor X, she was with that Mexican woman who's taking care of her. These are people that kind of have her best interest at heart. She knows she can trust them, and with Logan, she's not so sure, and she needs to develop that relationship and actually talk with him. Otherwise, she doesn't have a protector.
So it's like an evolutionary standpoint. If I want to survive, I have to mature right now, because I don't have a real mature person guarding me anymore. Yeah.
And I mean, he's falling apart. He's self-destructive. He's obviously frustrated with his life and not really. I mean, this is a major impasse for Logan Wolverine, whether he is a good guy at all, or whether he should slink off and just kind of fade into nothingness, into obscurity. I think essentially we should maybe talk about what kind of situation the characters are in. I really like the future. I really like the future that this movie portrays. the trucks that drive on their own is interesting, I thought, and just all the stuff. So this movie has very Western style to it.
Yeah.
Coming right down to the family that is having water kept from it by some kind of company, which Logan then has to figure out and help him stop. And then, of course, it gets waylaid into an actual plot for the movie. But, there are Western elements at play here. And it's just kind of Wolverine at increasingly old age, losing his ability to heal. Mutants have been tracked down and killed or captured, I assume. And Professor X is kind of losing his mind, which I think is one of the main kind of touchstones for the movie, where if you've known or even just know about any kind of elderly symptom of losing your mind or losing your memories, what you see with Patrick Stewart's performance here is incredibly moving, really well done, not something you'd expect to see in a comic book movie, but it works for the character. The performance is great, and it just sells itself. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a fascinating idea for the world's most powerful mind to be going through Alzheimer's or something like that. And the movie really, like you said, they play into it perfectly, and it's a great exploration of the implications of something so dangerous and crazy. But we keep talking about the performances. Do you buy into the buzz of like, ooh, maybe this Cape movie will get an Oscar nom for the acting? Like, do you buy into any of that?
If it was closer to later summer, possibly. I kind of think that this movie might be forgotten by the time they start to name names. I think the performances are strong enough to earn it, certainly. I'm just worried about the timing, and as soon as all the Oscar bait movies come up.
And this is going to be a great year for movies anyway, so this will probably get forgotten pretty quick.
The only reason Heath Ledger won for The Dark Knight, how great his performance was,
just because he fucking died.
He died. Yeah, he died. So, it's a huge zeitgeist performance.
Patrick Stewart, if he wants that Oscar, he better die soon.
Go for the posthumous.
Yeah. So what are the other pluses of the movie?
Okay, so just the other performance, other than the little girl as X-23, is Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman's been in so many of these movies for so many years. It's kind of just a given that he is Wolverine. He's kind of stuck with the character, but this is his very public last kind of outing as Wolverine. And I think he does a great job. He portrays a striking look at the character that is uncompromising. All of the negatives that were once kind of positives, kind of his brashness, his inability to kind of feel feelings that you have to grapple with, kind of come back to bite him here. He has to be able to face up to these things because this is kind of his last go-round, and they do a great job of showcasing that. Hugh Jackman, I've seen him in a couple other things, but this is probably the best performance I've seen him in, certainly. Yeah,
I think it's pretty incredible that this is the 10th time we've seen this character in a movie, but he brings something new to it. There's new depth. It's not just, we're going to do it again. He brings something entirely new to the character that makes it feel fresh for the 10th time that we've seen it.
Yeah, it to me says that he cares about this, that they've gone so deep into it.
Did you hear that he took a pay cut for this movie?
Really? That makes sense. I mean,
Fox
this is not one of those big grandstanding superhero movies. It makes sense.
Fox wanted it to be PG-13, and Hugh Jackman and the director said, we want it to be rated R, so he volunteered to take a pay cut so that it could be rated R.
See, all of these studio executives don't really understand this genre or particular stories you can tell with this genre. They try to do the same thing with Deadpool. Deadpool is the number one most successful R-rated movie for forever. And now you've got Logan breaking box office records for March for R-rated movies with the same game, like with an R-rated superhero movie. Fox is now suddenly, all of a sudden, showing that they can succeed with an R-rated superhero property.
And I'm very excited about that.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed Deadpool and Logan more than any other comic book movies in recent history, so I'm hoping to get more movies that are similar to these.
I'm hoping what we're seeing here is that like Fox knows it has to differentiate itself from something like Marvel Studios, because Marvel Studios is going to put out 3 movies a year that are all vaguely similar, and if something like X-Men Apocalypse comes out and it's just like every other goddamn superhero movie on the market,
disgusting mess.
They got nothing, because Marvel's going to beat them at that game every time. So what Fox Studios has to do is bring those more R-rated, more edgy, kind of deeper tales to bear in the marketplace, and they'll win, just like they have with Deadpool, and now that they have done with Logan.
Yeah, it's funny that DC is trying to be the edgy ones, then fucking Fox comes in with their old X-Men property and beats them, like completely beats them.
And yeah, we shouldn't talk too much about the kind of superhero genre in general, but I mean, the DCU has such a hard thing they're trying to do, because they've got
they
these
just
mainline...
need to end it now.
I don't know, man.
Put them out of their
could.
misery. Even it sounds like the Batman movie is a disaster. Ben Affleck doesn't want to do it. He dropped the director role.
Mm-hmm. I think it's friction with the studio more than anything. I think the studio wants a very specific Batman movie, and I think Ben Affleck probably wants a more down-to-earth crime drama type movie that the studios know. That's not the Batman movie we've been making. But actually, the studios are probably wrong about that, because
they
Nolan
made the other
Batman
3
movies,
films, and they're all shit.
No, yeah, exactly. The Nolan Batman movies were a radical departure from like what the other Batman movies were before then, and they did super well. So if you give Ben Affleck that kind of modicum of trust, and it's very possible that he's not being given that trust because of Live by Night not doing very well, but you should give him that trust and say you can reinvent this character in a new fun way that's not what we want necessarily, but is something that is interesting. Do that. Don't fucking... I don't know. I like Matt Reeves, so we'll see if he is able to deliver something good. I'm just afraid that WB's just gonna put their hands all over it and shit over it.
So we agree, 3 great performances in Logan.
Yes.
We like the futuristic world. And my interpretation was that this was a world without Trump's America, because there's clearly no border. The movie opens with Logan getting attacked by Mexicans who are trying to steal his shit. So obviously this is like a post-apocalyptic world where Trump didn't win. So thankfully we live in a world where he did, right? Don't have to worry about any of this happening.
America would be great by whatever year this takes place in.
Yep. Hell, if Trump won, maybe Logan would be president. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk real quick about kind of like it takes place in the future, and they're being chased by this group of kind of robot arm guys. Maybe they don't all have robot arms, but the main guy has a robot arm. Yeah. I really liked that, because I really liked how the arm was animated, where it looked shaky at times. It was doing everything it was supposed to be doing, but it was like slower than you'd expect from an actual hand, and just kind of it jittered at times. And I really loved that, where that kind of technology being used.
Yeah, it gave me hope for a potential Full Metal Alchemist movie where they would have a realistic-looking metal arm, because the main guy in that has a metal arm, too.
Oh, yeah, I know. Alphonse.
Yeah. I didn't know you were an anime boy, Rich.
Not that much of an anime boy, but enough to know the mainstream shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's see here. So, I'm going to talk about my problem with the movie. Okay. And that's basically...
You better not steal mine, because I had a good one.
No, I don't think it is. My problem with the movie would basically be the villain, like kind of the main villain / the kind of bruiser villain that they've got for this movie. So the main villain, you could say, is the Richard E. Grant. He's the actor who's playing the character Xander Rice, and he's just the evil scientist guy. So I know that not you, but
probably me.
Yeah, you, definitely you. When they make these superhero movies, you can either focus it on the villain or you can focus it on the hero. And Marvel usually tends to focus on the hero to the kind of...
detriment of the villains?
The detriment of the villain. And DC in the past has usually done the opposite, where like the Joker has been kind of the huge force that's really kind of developed in, say, The Dark Knight or the original Batman 1989 movie. But in this movie, Bane. I feel like Bane.
The best part of that movie.
You talking about Tom Hardy or Monkey Work, the Batman and Robin.
Oh,
Bane.
He was the best part of both movies. It's Bane.
Bane in general.
Yeah.
We should just talk about Bane sometime. But,
we need a Bane spin-off movie where it's just about him.
Dude, he's interesting enough. And make it Tom Hardy.
He's way more interesting than fucking Batman.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so the villain in Logan is this scientist guy who, for some reason, like, it's just so vague and it's barely paid attention to, and he's just generic evil scientist guy. And so I didn't even realize this because, like, I really like the guy who plays this guy, Richard E. Grant, but I could not understand what he was saying for the life of me. And so I watched it again. I actually saw Logan twice.
Shit!
In the past week. So I watched it again, and I could tell better what he was saying this time. He says that his name is Xander Rice, and that Logan killed his father some time ago. And I was like, I have no fucking idea who he's talking about. All I know is that when Wolverine was running around that facility, Stryker, who was played by William Cox, I think.
In X-Men Origins?
No, that's another guy. In X2, X-Men United, is Stryker. He's a character from the comics and shit. I don't know who Xander Rice is. I'm not that big on X-Men comics, so I can't tell you if that's a character. But in the X-Men Apocalypse movie, did you see that one, Monkey?
No, I heard it was god-awful, and I didn't want to waste my money.
It was god-awful, so you don't need to see it. But in that movie...
I don't like Jennifer Lawrence, so I couldn't stand the idea.
Oh, God, fucking Jennifer Lawrence. Okay, so in that movie, there is like a 2-minute Hugh Jackman cameo, where they've got him suited up in kind of the classic Weapon X costume, where he's got this like apparatus on his face, and he's wearing nothing but like underwear and that apparatus on his face. And as he's running through that facility, one of the guys he kills is that guy's father in this movie. So they somehow tied this movie into X-Men Apocalypse, which fucking blows my mind. I don't know why you'd want to connect this movie to X-Men Apocalypse. But, okay,
the X-Men timelines are just so fucky and confusing. I would just say, like, they should have just ignored it and just made a movie.
That's what I'd do, yeah. And, okay, so that kind of ties into my point for why... one of the problems I have with this movie. So, basically, that villain guy, and so the brute villain I talked about is X-24, who is a clone of...
Spoilers!
Logan. Yeah, spoilers. Sorry about that. A clone of Wolverine. Now, if I were making this movie and I were absolutely, like, kind of really committed to making a kind of stripped down, not really a comic book movie, very kind of emotionally weighty, and I don't know, you just throw away a lot of the bullshit that usually gets attached to a comic book movie, I would not have an evil clone running around in this movie. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of my problem, is that I wish they had stuck with a more stripped down, more kind of just all throughout emotional, rather than to have this clone of Logan. And I understand kind of the shadow self of this is the version of him when he was just a brute, just running around destroying things just because. But
it's kind of like symbolic in a way of him fighting his past self.
Yeah. I mean, I think they didn't do quite enough with that to really sell that point. But, I mean, just in general, I didn't care much for that. I'd rather you just have these little mutant kids being chased around by the robot hand guys. They could be chased around by the robot hand guys. That was the entire threat. You just have to protect them from those guys, and that's it. You don't need to bring in this other big scientist guy who, I don't remember how he dies. He gets shot, I think?
I don't remember. Like, everybody gets killed in the woods.
Yeah, Logan pulls out a gun, I think, and shoots him. But it's just like, you don't need that. You don't need that role. You can keep it just them running away from these guys, and you accomplish the same exact thing. I guess all the clone really does is ramp up the stakes.
I don't know. I think X-24, I mean, if we're in spoilers, he fucking kills Xavier, and Xavier thinks that it's Logan killing him. That's like the second saddest scene in the movie. So, I mean...
Sure.
The clone
but even that,
is like a dumb idea.
Enough time with. I was so kind of shocked and trying to catch up with what was going on, because I didn't expect there to be a black shirt Wolverine clone running around.
No, I thought it was Sabretooth at first. I had no idea what was going on.
I was trying to catch up with it, and I couldn't really take that time to get emotionally invested in the fact that Patrick Stewart had just been stabbed by Wolverine, or at least that's what he thought. So, I mean, yeah, you're right. There are some kind of good emotional beats they could do with that, and there's a great moment where Hugh Jackman is like, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me."
Yeah, that was really sad. Like, he wants to let his friend know he didn't kill him before he dies.
Yes. So that was a really good moment. Sure.
God, it reminds me of Silence when Kylo Ren drowns, thinking that Spider-Man betrayed him. Like, just something about that of somebody dying, not knowing the truth, really gets to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you just know that's their last chance. That's it. That's all she wrote. And people who don't haven't heard our Silence review or haven't seen the movie Silence, which is probably most people, are just
I think that's our least viewed episode.
What's going on? Yeah. So
I thought
that's kind of my main problem with the movie.
When Logan and the clone were fighting, I thought those fight scenes were pretty cool.
Oh, sure, and I love how kind of, I guess, makeup level, you can see how scarred up Logan is. He's not healing as well as he is, so you can see all of his scars still. And so there's a scene where he's in with that random doctor guy, and like it looks like he's just been mauled by an animal when he's sitting on that. Oh man, just the imagery of this movie is very, very good. You can see how torn up he is.
So should I talk about my big problem with the movie?
Yeah, go ahead.
And when I say big problem, it's not really that big. It's just kind of a concern I have for R-rated superhero movies going forward. I think that they're still kind of working out the kinks. Because imagine you're the writer of this movie and they say, okay, it's greenlit. You're going to make an R-rated superhero movie.
Yes.
So then you start writing that script. And the very first line of dialogue, you're like, "Oh baby, this is R-rated. I'm gonna
let's go."
Give a little wink to the audience that it's R-rated. The first line is gonna be fuck. And then in that scene, he's gonna say fuck 5 more times. And then he's gonna go see Professor X, and Professor X is gonna say fuck like 5 times. And then in the whole movie,
I loved Professor X saying it, man.
But my thing is, it seemed like they were so gun happy with their R rating that they had to throw in like as much fuck as they could. And I love fuck. I say fuck more than anybody I know. I've said it
fuck
probably.
Me, I always say fucking fuck.
I've said it like 10 times in this video, if not more. But the problem is, it just felt like they were trying to force it in more times than necessary. I think the best fuck in the movie is after they bury Professor X and Logan is just wailing on his truck because it won't start. And he's just like, fuck, shit, fuck. Like, that's a perfect moment. Put that in a movie. But we don't need everybody saying fuck all the time for reasons where, in other movies where they'd be like, not saying it. And then also there's like a scene where a girl flashes her tits at Logan. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, we get it. It's R-rated. Like, what does this have to do with anything? Why are you throwing this in?
Yeah,
like I feel like they're doing it. I feel like they're doing it just because it's R-rated. So it's kind of unnecessary. Kind of takes me out of it. Just fucking tell the story you want, unrestricted. Don't try to shoehorn in like tits and fucks and all this stuff. Just let it come naturally.
I'd say the tits felt shoehorned in. I didn't mind them, but they didn't feel. I mean, I never mind tits. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it just felt like they were trying to prove a point almost. I don't have as much of a problem with the fucks. One of my favorite kind of long-running jokes with these movies, the X-Men movies, is that any movie that Wolverine's in after like 2010 or something, he always says fuck once.
Oh yeah, because they always get to do one in a PG-13
Yeah, you can do
movie.
one with PG-13. Yeah. So one of my favorite ones is in X-Men First Class when a young Professor X and Eric Lencher, Magneto, are going to hunt down random mutants. They come to Wolverine just sitting in a bar, and they tell him, "We've got a school that we're forming, and we'd like you to join." And Logan just says, "Fuck off." I love shit like that. So I was happy that like as soon as the movie started, it started with fuck, and they just kept saying fuck. And also, like, I just think it kind of has a pragmatic use, because for any parent that brought their entire brood of children
it tells them to get out
into the theater, you very quickly get a realization that, oh, this is not the CGI-laden X-Men movie that we've been bringing our fucking kids to for the last 10 fucking years. He's gonna say fuck this time quite a lot. So, yeah.
When I hear that there's an R-rated Wolverine movie, I'm like, okay,
yeah.
have a couple fucks. You don't need to fucking drown me in fucks. What I want to see is gratuitous, bloody violence with these claws, and buddy, that's what they deliver on. That's all I needed from an R-rated Logan movie, is just gratuitous blood and violence, and this movie is filled to the brim with that shit, sucker.
Absolutely.
So I'd say for these in the future of these movies, let's lean more towards the crazy violence and less towards the gratuitous cursing for no reason other than because we can.
Mm-hmm.
But do
you think Deadpool
that's like my only problem with the movie.
Yeah, that's not too big a problem either.
No, not
do you
really.
think Deadpool should definitely stick with its heavy
Deadpool
language?
Should be as coarse and vulgar as possible, because that's the whole point of the character.
All right. Yeah. I was gonna say something. I guess it bugs me that Logan never said bub in this movie.
Yeah, and he never smoked a cigar either.
He did grab a cigar from the
when they were robbing
convenience store in this movie. So there was some nod to it, but it wasn't really a huge thing.
So is there anything else big that we should delve into, or should we move on to some questions from Twitter?
Real quick, let's talk about whether they should use Wolverine after this. So can we talk about their fates in this movie?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we about halfway through the movie or so, Professor X dies. I guess we talked about that.
Yeah.
I did not really expect to see that to happen, so I was surprised by that. I knew that this would be Hugh Jackman's last Wolverine movie. I didn't really expect him to die as conclusively as he does in this. Mm-hmm. They bury him. He's got a bunch of rocks on him. I did expect one of those rocks to like shake or fall off or something.
Some bullshit Batman versus Superman stuff.
Yeah, you can always in your head say, "Oh, he's still alive." But yeah, I like that they didn't do anything corny like that. I did like the cross falling at the tip of his grave to form an X. I thought that was kind of the perfect way to close the movie.
It's the saddest part of the movie.
Yeah, that can be bad. They could have done that in a way that's bad, but it was kind of affecting, and it was X-23 doing it. Now, do you think X-23 can carry the kind of Wolverine mantle from here on out, or what do you think?
Oh, man, I wouldn't really want to. I didn't like the character as much once she started talking. I liked her more as the silent little 8-year-old loli girl who just fucking tears people to shreds and cuts off their heads. Towards the beginning, when in her first action scene, it's like it kind of becomes a horror movie from the point of view of the guards who are the guys with guns trying to catch her. Where like they're walking through this building trying to find the monster, which is her, and she's like swooping in and killing them one by one. So that was really fun.
And then she comes out with one of their heads, and she rolls the head over to them.
So if she didn't talk a lot, I'd like her, but I don't see her as a leading character. Maybe a supporting character.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't mind to see her like in a supporting team, maybe of like younger mutants. I believe that they're going to try to do a New Mutants movie, and I would not mind to see her with a group of other kind of teenagers once she's a couple years older.
As long as they keep it with the R rating.
Yeah, I think that's what they're looking to do. They are looking to do more kind of edgy material with this, because I mean that makes sense. I think X-Men is the longest running franchise of these superhero movies, because it was in like the early 2000s that they started making it, and for the most part, they haven't really
when they
properly
reboot it,
rebooted
they
it.
just say it's a different timeline or something.
It's a different timeline, or it's the past of the previous characters. There are so many fucking timelines in these X-Men movies. It's not even funny. It does none of it really makes sense, which is crazy. But
no, they didn't even try.
But it's amazing to me that they can do that. Nobody cares, and they just do whatever the fuck they want.
Now you were hinting earlier at the question if Logan should come back, and I say yes, absolutely, but only for Deadpool 2.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Wait, so you're saying Hugh Jackman should come back?
Yeah, I think Hugh Jackman as Wolverine
Reynolds?
has to be in Deadpool 2, even as a cameo. I think it would be the coolest, funniest shit ever.
Okay, I agree, a cameo. I don't want anything really substantial, but I wouldn't mind, because, he was, Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds was really making fun of Hugh Jackman in the first movie, so even if he just stopped by, I actually would love it if it was just Hugh Jackman. It wasn't actually Wolverine, it was
be really good too.
Actor Hugh Jackman.
I mean, in the world of Deadpool, there are no rules, so... Like, I wouldn't care if Wolverine showed up and helped him fight a guy. Like, it's not like it's canon to the X-Men universe. It's a fucking joke in a comedy movie.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of weird because it is kind of part of the universe in a way, because they do have characters like Colossus, who has been in the other movies. But yeah, in a lot of ways it's not, because the nature of Deadpool's character, he kind of takes place outside of any of the actual stuff, because he actually mentions
the
which
fourth
Professor
wall.
X are we saying, Stewart or McAvoy in Deadpool. So yeah, he's kind of outside of any kind of order or canonicity.
All right, so I think we're done talking about Cape Kino, unless you had one more thing.
Nope, that's it.
All right, let's move on to some Twitter questions. And I just posted this, so I haven't read any of them.
It's the best.
Yeah, so we're gonna go balls to the wall on this. Mm-hmm. Here's one. What is a movie you loved, and this is by The Last Weeaboo. What is a movie you loved at one point in your life, but now loathe?
I wanted to say, I don't think I have such strong feelings about most movies that I now loathe them. I guess Cats and Dogs. Which, when I saw it, I was a little kid, so of course I loved it. And now that I'm older, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? This is an interesting question.
Yeah.
It's just
like,
hard to
what
think
movie
about.
doesn't hold up with nostalgia?
Mm-hmm.
I think one for me would be, I was a huge fan of Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid, so naturally I thought that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie was the dopest shit ever, dog. But Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie is pretty awful. I'd go as far as saying it's absolute horse shit.
The first Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie?
Yeah, well, I think there was only one. The one that was in theaters.
I'm sure there was another one, though, recently.
Oh, yeah, I'm just talking the one I saw in theaters as a kid. God, it's fucking awful.
Yeah. I would say Dinosaur as well. The 3D animated Disney movie, where now the animation is terrible. None of the voices are any good. The only thing that movie has going for it is that there are dinosaurs in it, and that's it.
We'll do one more question. Here's one from God Zane, who wants to know, who are some actors you think should win Academy Awards? I think
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal. Has Michael Shannon won anything? Probably not.
I don't think so.
No.
But yeah, definitely him.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal
Tom
for
Hardy.
sure. Tom Hardy hasn't won? Yeah, I guess he hasn't.
Nope. Tom Hardy should have won for Locke. That movie is entirely on him.
Yeah, I thought he was a lock for sure that year.
Monkey.
Can you think of any women, you sexist pig?
Oh, yeah. He said actors.
Women can't be actors, E-Rich. Shameful.
No, they can be actresses. Let's see here. Females. God, what's her name? The youngest Olsen, who's now in the Avengers.
Caitlin Olsen?
Movies. Caitlin Olsen?
No, that's from It's Always Sunny, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Elizabeth Olsen?
I have no idea. If I know who you're talking about. The Scarlet
people
Witch?
know what I'm talking about. Scarlet Witch. She was in a movie called Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene or something, and she was really good in that. She probably should have won for that. And she's super cute. Mew, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, was really good in 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
Imogen Poots.
She was in Green Room, right?
Yes, she was. She did. Alicia Vikander did win an Oscar, I believe, but she deserved to win it for Ex Machina.
Oh, for sure. I was going to say Reese Witherspoon, but it looks like she won back in 2006, so never mind.
Oh, wow.
But I wanted her to win in 2015 for the movie Wild.
Oh, yeah, she was really good in Wild. Yeah. Absolutely. Laura Dern, there's another one. If she hasn't won, she should win.
Well, there you go. Whoever that was. Zed, I forgot already. But hey, there's some people who we think better win some goddamn Oscars before they die, or else we're gonna light up the Academy, baby.
That's right. Oscar's so dead.
Alrighty, Rich, I think that brings us to the end of another Monkey and Cobb movie review.
Sounds good.
What are we gonna see next? I don't want to see the King Kong movie anymore. Don't make me go see it.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh.
No, but if you want to, I guess I'll fucking do it.
I'll see it, and if we don't do an episode on it, I'll give my short 30-second E-Rich movie review.
How about you go see it, and then you tell me if it's worth doing a review over it.
If it's worth seeing.
Yeah, and if it is, I'll go see it.
All right.
For better or worse, if it's worth it. Okay, well, hey, maybe we'll see you next time with Kong Skull Island. For Mumkey and Cobb movie reviews, I have been Mumkey.
And I'm E-Rich.
See ya.
Bye-bye.